Hello, welcome to the HeiDoc YouTube channel. So let's talk about the EU copyright reform and especially Article 13 today. The reform law will go through parliamentary vote in the EU on March 25th, which is a bit more than 2 weeks from now. If it passes, the impact on the user-generated internet will be massive. Not only in the EU, but everyone who consumes EU content anywhere in the world will be affected by this, and it's not for the good, it is for the worse here. That's why I'm bringing up this rather dry and boring topic today. So that includes, of course, this channel here, which might no longer exist if the law passes. It includes our platforms Winsert and HeiDoc, which might also have to end, basically, because they don't comply with this new law. For example, let's have a look at the FAQ, frequently asked questions, that YouTube has just released, and see what they say. So I'm going to read it to you, of what it means for YouTube creators and artists in the EU. YouTube and other platforms may have no choice but to block your existing videos and prevent you from uploading new ones in the European Union unless you can prove that you own everything in your videos, including visuals and sounds. So what does it mean, everything? Well, everything means everything. If I'm not able to prove that I own everything, including my words that I'm speaking right now, which I might be reading from some copyrighted work, in that case I might not upload a video to YouTube. And really, who can prove that they own everything that they show in their videos and that they say in their videos? It's not about music, it's not about video clips from copyrighted works, from movies, television shows, etc. It really covers everything. So if I show, for example, such painting here in the background, no one knows who owns the copyright of this. If the artist complains, well, YouTube can't do anything about that. So what does it mean for a YouTuber outside the EU? Or rather, what does it mean for the subscribers, EU subscribers, of a YouTube creator outside the European Union? Let me read it to you. YouTube and other platforms are likely to block your videos, including existing ones, to users in the European Union if there is partial or disputed copyright information. So that covers everything as well. If the YouTube creator outside the European Union can't prove that they own everything, they will be blocked in the EU. So that covers almost every YouTuber except for the TV networks and the music industry's own videos, for example, news publishers, etc. That's the only thing that we will be able to have here in the EU if this law goes through. Let's cover who will be affected, because there are a few exemptions. So every platform, the big platforms like YouTube, for sure. Small platforms, what about small platforms? Yes, they're exempt. They're exempt if they are less than 3 years old and have a turnover of less 10 million euros and have less than 5 million monthly users. So that the problem here is the and. So after 3 years, basically every platform must comply or they're out. All our platforms are 3 years old by now, so they would all have to comply or go down. Also exempt are online encyclopedias, so Wikipedia will stay in the European Union. Educational and scientific repositories, code-sharing platforms, this is also very good, so GitHub will remain in the EU. Electronic communication services, messengers, email, etc. No problem with these. Marketplaces for physical goods. So eBay is fine, Amazon is fine, except for Kindle, for example. Kindle has a problem. Cloud storage services are exempt as well. Not exempt, just to name a few ones. The big ones: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vimeo, Twitch, Reddit, TripAdvisor, Tinder, Pinterest, Google Play, Amazon, Amazon Kindle, Airbnb, Flickr, WordPress, Blogger. All these will have to comply, and their compliance will look like what YouTube announced in their FAQ, what they're going to do, namely shut down in the EU and not allow EU users to access their stuff anymore. So is it really that dark and dire? Let's look at the article, straight away at the article. So Article 13, paragraphs 2 and 2a are the important ones. Let me read them to you. Licensing agreements which are concluded by online content sharing services providers with right holders for the acts of communicating referred to in paragraph 1 shall cover the liability for works uploaded by the users of such online content sharing services in line with the terms and conditions set out in the licensing agreement, provided that such users do not act for commercial purposes. Before I continue, let me explain what that means. So the platforms, online content sharing service providers, that's the platforms I've just lined out just before reading that. So big ones and small ones alike. So the right holders for the acts of communication referred to in paragraph 1. So who is the right holder? It doesn't specify here. So we must assume it covers all right holders. So who is the right holder? Of course, it's the news networks, it's the news publishers, music industry, movie studios, etc. But who is the right holder? Everyone who produces anything is a right holder. This covers hobby photographers. This covers you. If you upload any substantial picture or comment or text on Facebook, you are the copyright owner of that text. You're the right holder. So what does it ask here? It asks all EU-based platforms to make licensing agreements with all right holders worldwide. So no one can actually do that because the amount of right holders is vast. It covers companies, it covers corporations, it covers mostly private individuals with their own privately generated content. And if anyone uses that content without authorization on a platform, may it be the big ones like YouTube or Facebook or the small ones like our own platforms, Winsert, the platforms are liable to pay the right holder any damages. And that's just devastating because, as we've seen, it covers all the audio, video, text used in the user-generated content. So what I'm doing here is showing you, for example, I'm showing you this text of the law, which I don't hold the rights to. I'm not the right holder of this text, I'm just showing you. So I would be violating Article 13 with this video, which I'm producing now. So let's go to paragraph 2a. Member states shall provide that where right holders do not wish to conclude licensing agreements, online content sharing service providers and right holders shall cooperate in good faith in order to ensure that unauthorized protected works and other subject matter are not available on their services. So not available on the platforms, that means, and it means not available, it's never available. So it must be checked on uploads. So the only technology that can actually provide what they're asking for here is an upload filter, like the Content ID YouTube has, which doesn't work properly. It makes lots of mistakes, and it was really expensive to develop. So as a small platform like we could never do that. The big ones, YouTube, they also say they can't do it. They can't comply to this. We've just seen that in the FAQ. They rather shut down rather than upgrading their upload filters to be able to do what the EU is going to ask for. But let's continue reading Article 13, paragraph 2a. Cooperation between online content service providers and right holders shall not lead to preventing the ability of non-infringing works or other protected subject matter, including those covered by an exception or limitation to copyright. That means the freedom of speech must not be restricted, because everything that's allowed, YouTube must make sure that it's going to be allowed to upload. So now, imagine you are the artificial intelligence behind that upload filter. Or rather, you're a human intelligence. You're much cleverer than this artificial intelligence that YouTube has. So you get some video with some random stuff, and you don't know who is the rights holder. Is it the uploader, or is it an unknown third party who's given or who has not given consent? You don't know. You don't know. How do you know that? I'm holding up this mouse. Do I have the copyright for this mouse? Who knows? I'm holding up this. Where's the copyright for it? Who knows? Artificial intelligence doesn't know it. Even human intelligence, much more cleverer than any artificial intelligence, doesn't know it. A YouTube search, a Google search for the content doesn't really work, because it might not be on the internet and still someone might own the copyright to that material. The same on Facebook. If you post any content on Facebook, Facebook's artificial intelligence doesn't know if this text has any copyright restrictions. How should they know? They can't. So this is a massive problem. It's clear what the EU had in mind. They were only thinking about the big content owners like the music industry and publishers, news publishers, etc. They didn't think about the small content owners who own a couple of photos, a couple of texts. Let's talk about what you can do to stop this craziness, to stop this madness. Whether you are a EU citizen or not a EU citizen, what you can do is spread the word. You'll find hundreds of videos with this kind of information, mostly in German. It's not really spread beyond Germany right now, but it must spread to the other EU countries. You must be aware what the EU Parliament is doing to your freedom of speech, to your civil rights here, to express yourself on the platforms that we all love, we've all come to cherish. Facebook. If Facebook goes down in the EU, it will be a massive problem for free speech, for communication. Sign the petition. There is a petition with 5 million signers, more than any other on the GoFundMe, on the what's the big platform there? Can't remember now. I'll put the link. I'll put the link down in the description for the petition. 5 million signers, more than any petition before. It's the biggest petition ever. Put your signature in. Every signature counts. Use the hashtag #SaveYourInternet. Look up the hashtag #SaveYourInternet on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all the social media platforms. Read it and realize what madness this is. If you're a EU citizen, you can do more. You can write to your Member of Parliament, your Member of the EU Parliament, and ask them about the copyright reform, especially if your MEP is not a copyright reform opponent. If they want to vote for the copyright reform, you can write to them. You can ask them. You can tell them, I'm not gonna vote for you again in the next election if you vote for the copyright reform. There's a list of all EU parliamentary members and how their view is on the copyright reform. I'll put the link down in the description as well. Make use of it. Do get in touch with them. There are massive offline protests. In Germany alone, 10,000s of young people have gone on the streets to protest the copyright reform. It's slowly spreading, but we must get the same amount of protest in the other EU countries. The number of YouTube channels that are going to go down is estimated to be 35 million. 35 million YouTubers who are not going to be able to produce content anymore, who are not going to be able to make money from YouTube anymore. So this will have an impact on many people in the EU. So you can't join the offline protests. We need to spread this to France, to Ireland, to Great Britain, to Spain, Italy, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia. There's so little protest going on there right now, and in Germany we've seen the amount of protest that's possible, so that the politicians can't ignore this mess any longer. There is going to be an internet blackout day initiated by Wikipedia. It will happen on the 21st of March. So if you own a website, a platform, any online services, please join the blackout day. The German Wikipedia, at least the German Wikipedia, will be down on that day, informing every visitor, every user about the upcoming copyright reform and the offline protests on 23rd of March. So all our platforms will be down on that day as well. HeiDoc will be down, Winsert will be down. The Windows ISO downloader will not be generating any ISO images on the 21st of March, but point the visitors to the blackout page and inform them. So if you own any substantial platform online, please do join the blackout day. This must also grow, and we need to inform as many people as possible, at least before the EU parliamentary elections, if not before the parliamentary vote on the copyright reform. We must be able to stop it, or else this will be the end, the death of the user-generated internet that we know and love so much. So thanks so much for listening, and see you next time. Bye bye.